the thing that I learned from this, I did not know Eat It came before
Beat It.
Beat It.
I know.
I was blown away. I didn't know that was a completely original
I had to look it up.
song.
I didn't believe it.
Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We're your hosts. I'm Jay.
And I'm Matt.
This is episode 32. This episode will be discussing Weird, the Al Yankovic story that is currently streaming and always probably going to be streaming on the Roku channel. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can comment on episodes, write to our email, contact.acastwithnoname@gmail.com. Link and email addresses in the description of the episode. Weird, the Al Yankovic story started streaming November 4th, 2022. And to give you a quick rundown, if I can pull it up here, directed by Eric Appel, and it explores every facet of Yankovic's life, from his meteoric rise to fame with early hits like Eat It and Like a Surgeon, to his torrid celebrity love affairs and famously depraved lifestyle.
Right. What were your first impressions, Jay?
First impressions, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been, not always, I always enjoyed Weird Al music.
Right. I think most of us did.
Yeah, and
kids, right?
Yeah, it was fun. He surprisingly, he did like a lot of, it's a lot of family friendly stuff. And his humor is weird. It's more offbeat and everything like that, kind of reminiscent of like Mad Magazine and just some of the quirkiness and all that stuff. I enjoyed it a lot. I recommend, if you're a fan of his music, I recommend watching this movie. I think anyone who enjoys his music would be entertained by it. I think you had mentioned that there are a couple of parts in the movie where it kind of gets stale, but I feel like it shows it's very true for him. And I think the directing's, well done. I haven't seen anything else by Eric Appel.
I haven't either.
And
he's fairly new.
Yeah. And because I think he did a short kind of documentary for Weird Al about 12 years ago. And this is just a longer form of that. But yeah, if you're a fan of Weird Al, you're a fan of his music, I think you'll be entertained by this movie. And I think it's as I said before, very true to him and well done enough. It's not, I don't think it's that long. I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, not long at all.
Which, it didn't have that long of a life, but it's a pretty good.
Didn't drag.
Yeah.
No. No, I agree. I enjoyed it as well. I thought the performances were great. I thought Daniel Radcliffe was awesome. So was Evan Rachel Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Rainn Wilson was good. If you like biopics, I would recommend it too. That, like I said, it kind of dragged in places, but that's just because I've seen it 1,000 times in other biopic movies, like the scenes where, they go into alcohol and or drugs or whatever the case may be. There's a downfall and then there's the eventual rise, and you get the origin stories of how a song or a movie or whatever that they're known for, how it came about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie did that well. Kind of like
it touches on the same beats as a lot of
like
other
Bohemian
biopics.
Rhapsody or like Ray, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and which it's that's why they say it's a tale as old as time. It seems like everyone that kind of hits that level of fame experiences a lot of the same things, especially in Hollywood or in the music industry. While others are able to rise above it and overcome it, sadly, some are tragically taken too early. So, but no, I think the acting was really well done. The music great. I think they used the
top hits.
Yeah, they use. I mean, they got all of his hits in there. Daniel Radcliffe did not sing.
No.
In this, they used recordings of Al Yankovic, so which I thought was good.
Yeah.
But no, I recommend it.
Yeah,
so.
they did the same thing with Bohemian Rhapsody. Like Rami Malek wasn't singing. It was Freddie Mercury. So
no one can sing like Freddie Mercury.
right.
So
they don't have Jamie Foxx who can sing like Ray Charles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Take money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, before we get into spoilers, I would recommend it. It's on the Roku channel. It's free. You'll get a couple of ads here and there, but
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
For a free movie, it's good.
It's good watch. Good. Yeah, it's a good time.
Worth your time. Yeah.
Yeah. So spoilers.
Yes.
I like how, because Al, one of the things I liked about, the main thing that I liked about this movie is Weird Al loved using humor, and the fact I enjoyed how they were able to balance the humor and then the hardships that he had in his life. For example, I mean, I didn't know his family. I never knew that his family wasn't supportive. Yeah. And the fact that they were just so mean to him. Like what they had a conversation when he was eating dinner when he was a child, and I think this is he had written a lyric, or he sang a song and changed the words to it, and he thought it was funny, and his parents were just, I mean, they literally flat out told him, we want you to stop being who you are,
right,
and go work at the factory,
right.
Which it's tough for any kid to, I mean,
hear something like that.
Be
uninspired.
Yeah, and then the fact, and then another scene, which you kind of had that awkward comedy in there, which I think the director balanced very, very well. But when you had the traveling salesman that sold the accordion to, I guess, Al's mother, but when the father found out, how they were able to balance the humor with the horrible thing that his father did by collapsing the salesman's. I mean, he just beat him up, which I don't know. I mean, I'm torn on if he had a right to do that or not. I mean, he was in the house. It was against his wishes for what he wanted for his son. So, I mean, as a father, I can understand that kind of action. But afterwards, after the father had left the room, you could kind of hear him gurgling up blood, which was, I don't know, it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
Like him and Thomas Lennon saying, "Oh, I have a collapsed lung." I mean, it undercuts the seriousness of it, keeps it lighthearted, which I think the director did a very good job, especially when it kind of dove into the more torrid things that happened in his life. That's kind of what that's what I enjoyed most about it, to where it wasn't afraid to touch on the salty things that happened to him, but it was also able to lift it up a little bit in humor, so that way you're always having a good time.
Yeah, and I think his dad, obviously he was projecting because he wasn't happy with his life. He was at a dead-end job at the factory, and it's that old trope to where, you know, misery loves company, and he's kind of taking it out on his son. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, who played his dad, by the way? Got it. He's in so many things.
Yeah, so his father was played by Toby Huss.
Toby Huss. Yeah. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's one of those actors where you're like, I know him. I've seen him from somewhere. But he was great in it.
Yeah. He was very good. Julian Nicholson.
Oh, yeah.
Played his mother. But the star of the film, Daniel Radcliffe, I think encapsulated very well the larger-than-life figure that Weird Al was. And I think he brought his quirkiness to screen. He did I think he did a pretty good job.
I think he balanced it well with his kind of innocence at the beginning, because Daniel Radcliffe, and you know him as Harry Potter, he can act the innocent part very well. And then when he kind of goes down the spiral of addiction and all that stuff later on, and his, his relationships that don't work out, he manifests being like angry and tortured very well.
Yeah.
He's very good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely displayed the torment that he experienced earlier on in life. He did that very, very well. One of the thing that I learned from this, I did not know Eat It came before
Beat It.
I
know.
I was blown away. I didn't know that was a completely original
I had to look it
song.
up. I didn't believe it.
I know.
There you go.
Yeah, that's one of the things I learned. And also, I should have known because I didn't know Coolio. First of all, Amish Paradise, I didn't know Weird Al's father had written that.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was just another one of Weird Al's songs. But I like that aspect to where once him and his father reconciled
and they reconnect,
that he was able to kind of kind of lift up his dad a little bit. Not so much to thank him at the award show at the end, which I think is deserved because it was kind of a shit to him.
Yeah,
most of his childhood, but he was able to turn that into a hit. And I should have put two and two together because listeners, back in the 90s, you had a lot of hip-hop artists resampling previous old songs for new content. So you had Vanilla Ice sampling
Under Pressure.
Under Pressure by David Bowie and Queen. You had
MC Hammer sampling Rick James.
Yeah, you had Puff Daddy sampling
Everything.
Everybody. And yeah, I did not know. Usually, you still have pop stars sampling older music today. But no, I did not. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put two and two together for Coolio resampling Amish Paradise that came out. I think it was almost 10 years prior.
Yeah, I know.
So, but yeah. So I was shocked by that, and
the more you know.
Yeah, the influence that he had on other artists. I was aware of the Yankovic bump.
Yeah.
I was aware of that. Similar to what Wayne's World did with
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody kind of put it back up on the charts. But yeah, and then I was shocked. I did not know he was so young when he died. It was like a 5-year span that he was able to put out all those hits.
Mm-hmm.
And but I wonder how old he was, because I wonder if he was part of the 27 Club, like Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Jim
I was just
Morrison
going to say that. Yeah, the typical flash like a shooting star, and then you're out.
Yeah,
and it's gone.
Flash in the pan, and then
yeah,
done. I did appreciate the director using influences from other. So when Weird Al was arrested for indecent exposure, which the 80s must have been weird because, popping out an accordion like that. You had, even when he was a child, the polka parties must have been some subculture thing I've never even heard of. I tried to do research on it. I couldn't find anything. I wonder if that's how underground it was.
I think so.
Where that kind of scene was just that much frowned upon, which I can understand why his parents would be that pissed then that he was kind of in that crowd. But yeah, when he busted out his accordion on stage and then immediately arrested, that mimicked The Doors, Oliver Stone's The Doors.
That scene in particular.
That scene when he's yelling at the audience. And, all that, and you can kind of just see his rock bottom self. But I liked how he kind of pulled inspiration from that film, and also Boogie Nights, another biopic about the 70s porn star Dirk Diggler. Yeah. At the pool party when Dr. Demento takes him and introduces to everybody.
All the celebrities.
Yeah, all the celebrities, and very reminiscent of the pool scene and Boogie Nights as well.
Yeah.
So I like how he wasn't afraid to take inspiration from other previous films that obviously he was affected by and enjoyed, I'm sure.
I always like those scenes where most biopics have that scene where people realize that there's something here that they didn't see before. Like I think of like I'm going to keep referencing Bohemian Rhapsody because it's the most recent one I can think of, to where Freddie Mercury is auditioning for the band and he just belts out something in like the parking lot, and then the bandmates are like, "Wow, you can really sing." Mm-hmm. And then when he's doing it at the pool party to
it was Wolfman Jack.
Yeah,
and
he says, "Well, sing something."
Yep.
And then he starts singing Another One Rides the Bus, and then everyone's like enamored with, wow.
Yeah, the fact that, and I wonder, because I, like most biopics, they probably take some liberties, but I wonder if that actually happened, to where if like he thought of it right on the spot, or if it was something he was already kind of working on. Because I mean, if he freestyled that, then that just shows his genius.
Yeah.
But
another thing I liked about the movie is how they had all these cameos, because obviously Al was influential to a lot of people. How they got cameos for people to play other parts in the movie, like Jack Black as Wolfman Jack.
Yeah, you had Conan O'Brien as Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol, yeah.
And you had Jorma from Lonely Island
as Pee Wee Herman,
as Pee Wee Herman. And yeah, you had a lot of you could see a lot of the people that with such a short life, how many people even now he's influenced. Yeah. Just with his music and his comedy.
Do you remember him dating Madonna? I heard about it, but I just don't remember the details of it very well.
I mean, he died in 1985. I was like 2.
Yeah.
At the time. So, I mean, everything that I've heard from learned from it has either been rumors or something like that. I did not. I didn't know it was as deep as it was. Mm-hmm. I know he did like a surgeon, obviously, but and I know she had asked for it. I was not aware of how deep they were together.
Right.
That kind of shocked me, because I think she was like the it girl back then.
Oh yeah, easily.
And not to slam on Weird Al or anything. But he was kind of a nerdy guy, and the fact that he was able to land that, which what I don't understand, you had the Me Too movement in 2018. You have these deeds coming back that actors have done, like back in the 80s, like Dustin Hoffman and stuff like that, to where people were kind of shaming these actors for. No one said shit about Madonna. Like that kind of fucking irritates me. The fact, I mean, she was on Carpool Karaoke like a couple years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Like the fact that I don't know, but Roman Polanski was getting Oscars up until whatever, The Pianist or whatever.
2002.
So, yeah, and so I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I do think it's a little bit of a double standard. Now, whether she actually made the call or not, I don't know if that's like a liberty that the movie took.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And because I would think if they knew for sure that she ordered the hit, then she would be arrested.
Yeah. But you don't know. I think that's the point. Maybe there is some liberty there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a movie. I mean, it takes...
maybe you can take that liberty now because Madonna isn't as
huge. Because I mean, that's
what
what happened with Weinstein, is that once he started to fall as far as like not winning as many Oscars, and his power in Hollywood was starting to subside, and that's when the Me Too movement started, and they released a story and they were able to do that because he didn't have that power. So maybe we'll see something in the future. Yeah. Who knows?
That's one thing I was hoping that maybe they would have dove a little deeper into, because you always hear rumors about that, about the hit and all that stuff, and it didn't really clarify any of that stuff, but they addressed it, which is nice. They spent most of the movie on just Al himself, leading up to that point,
which is good. I did not know. I mean, I enjoyed his music. I never really looked at looked up his life or anything. Yeah, I didn't know he was shot. Yeah, I like in an award show too. Like,
I didn't know. I forgot it was at the award show.
I was shocked by that, and I mean, because I like some older music, but I'm not big into music. So that was a little shocking. One thing I wish they would have dug in deeper, and that kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, was his fighting ability. At the diner, I mean, not that it's not believable, but I feel like it would have touched on it at some point. Like, where did he learn that? Was it the was it lessons? Was it just like instinct? I mean, because that's some pretty phenomenal skill. But I don't know if if he was involved in the polka scene, did he learn it then? Or was he like, did he take, I'd just like to know where those skills came from. And I feel like that would, as far as a life story of somebody, that's something that I feel like should have been addressed, or at least kind of referenced, just from a filmmaking standpoint, to where did he learn that? I mean, did he learn it from his father? Because his father was a pretty adept fighter with the salesman. I don't know. That I just feel like that should have been expanded on just a little bit. And I think that was the only jarring thing, because it was abrupt. I thought they were going to explain it, but I do think it's phenomenal.
Maybe they didn't need to, because his life up to that point was pretty rough.
I mean, I don't know. Is it common knowledge? I mean,
it could be.
It probably was, but
I think they could get away with it in this movie, because up to that point, he saw the hardships that he went through. Maybe he was, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of
something maybe he picked up throughout his life with the crowd he was hanging out with.
Yeah, make the parallel that.
Yeah. You don't need to stretch your
brain too far.
Yeah, we don't need to have a montage of him training at the gym with the.
It would be out of place.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that was the only thing that really kind of stood out to me that.
They didn't touch on too much.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, I didn't know that about him, but was it a big part of his life? Was it something that he grew up doing or enjoyed, and stuff like that? But
yeah, well, he really didn't sing about it too much. So
yeah, it was mainly about food, but
that's right.
And then, but yeah, the recording of the songs.
Yeah, those are good
the
scenes.
Recording of the song in the public bathroom.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
I knew about that.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah, I knew he got his accordion from a traveling salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know the violence that his dad incurred on him.
Yeah.
On that, I just never read that, and I tried to, and I think that Yankovic estate must keep a pretty tight rep, because from the public eye, he has a pretty clean persona.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, he's not like a Michael Jackson, to where his dirty laundry is like
very public
documentaries. Like, I feel like the Yankovic estate probably
keeps it pretty close to the chest.
Obviously, yeah. Because I tried to look up stuff on his parents, and like I tried to look up stuff on his parents, trying to look up some of the things that happened in this film to try and like kind of dive deeper, because they touch on a lot of very interesting things. I mean, he goes to Mexico or something, and Esco.
Yeah,
I didn't know he had a hand in that.
Yeah.
I tried to look up shit on that. That can't find anything. Tried to look up shit on like more information, like how bad his parents were, or like what factory that his father worked at. Nothing on that.
Yeah.
So
big goose egg.
I think there's a lot of PR probably
behind the scenes
working overtime, like probably the same PR as Bob Ross or
whatever. Right, you got an image to maintain.
Yeah. So because I imagine his music is still still selling records, so people are still listening to it. They made a biopic, so
yeah,
obviously the fan base is still growing, or still.
Yeah, I thought those scenes you're talking about with Escobar, Arturo Castro, he was great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do a movie about Pablo Escobar alone. I think every time he pops up in a movie, especially in the 80s, he was very, he was the drug guy.
Yeah, because I think they referenced him once in Blow. And
But you never saw any direct connection with him at all.
Correct.
But Al was so big that it makes sense that he could.
I mean, they all
establish
know each other.
relationships like that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's not too far fetched because I mean Escobar was it in the 80s. And but yeah, I mean I thought it was.
The only negatives I have on the movie are sometimes the tropes of a typical biopic kind of shine through a little too much. Just the typical rise, fall because of drug, alcohol, whatever abuse.
Yeah.
And then the eventual rise again. I mean, all those familiar beats are there. It's like the same thing you've seen before, but I think it overcomes it because Al is such a unique figure that it kind of glosses over those flaws. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I was a little saddened by. I always had the super clean image of him. So I was a little taken aback by some of the, I guess, more lewd things that he did and shit like that. I definitely, well, of course, I wasn't much of a fan of Madonna, but I definitely didn't.
Not a fan of her now?
Yeah, definitely not a fan of her now.
Yeah.
The way she treated him, again, the way she treated him could be exaggerative effect. I mean, you got to have. I'm wondering what. I kind of half wonder what the biopic isn't saying, because if you have a PR team that's good enough to hide the shit off the internet of his parents and the love affair and everything else like that, but they let a biopic get made. If they let that happen, but what, like, okay, yeah, you can touch on this stuff, but you're not touching on this. Like, is there more worse things out there? Like, what else was Al involved in?
Are they telling the full story?
Yeah, are they telling the full story? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought I knew him before this movie, and the amount of stuff that I've learned.
You just have more questions.
Yeah, I have more questions. That's the only thing. But you get that. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody was changed and skewed and stuff to where
for dramatic effect.
Yeah, for dramatic effect. Like before they go on Live Aid, he tells his band members, "Oh, I have AIDS." Well, that didn't really happen. He didn't know about it until after Live Aid. Yeah, but it makes for a better movie.
Right.
So I'd be interested to see what they held back on for the to achieve an effect for a better movie,
or what they embellished on.
What they embellish on a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was pretty good. Rainn Wilson is Dr. Demento. I think did a pretty good job. I mean, it's tough, like for actors like Daniel Radcliffe and Rainn Wilson. When I think of Harry Potter and I think of Dwight Schrute,
right?
It's tough to
make the leap of like a dramatic role that Rainn's trying to play.
Which I think Daniel Radcliffe's accent was pretty good.
Yeah.
And Rainn Wilson did a pretty good job. There's some scenes in there that I was like, feels like Dwight. Kind of like.
It reminded me of Jack Black in King Kong, where he's playing that dramatic role.
Yeah.
But then Jack Black kind of just flashes out a little bit. A little bit, yeah. But it didn't didn't distract from the movie at all.
Yeah. Evan Rachel Wood, I think, did a great job.
Oh, she was awesome.
And I don't know if that's just because she's never been an iconic character before. I mean, she's in Westworld. But I didn't see her in that. I saw Madonna. So I thought she did a good job in that role. Thomas Lennon, I always see Thomas Lennon.
Yeah.
But
he wasn't in it for very long, so.
Lin-Manuel Miranda shows up as a doctor for a cameo.
Well,
after the
overdose.
Was it a car crash?
I thought it was an overdose.
Well, I thought he was. Yeah, he was driving in the car. and which miracle he survived that.
Yeah.
But I think he had OD, or because he was trying to light a cigarette.
That's right.
And
he was drunk.
Yeah. Which, lucky. Be able to do a couple more songs after that, but
it's a pretty gnarly ER scene there.
Yeah. When he was flatlined.
Yeah.
And they were about ready to call it.
That was an intense scene.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I could see why they made a movie about his life. I mean, it was he did have a very interesting life. More interesting than what I thought initially going into this. Which the trailer piqued my interest just because, I mean, I always thought of him as being wholesome. I didn't know.
All the strife and debauchery.
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of shocked by it. But,
yeah.
But yeah,
it makes for a good movie.
Yeah, it does make for a good movie. So, looking.
I'm trying to think of any other negatives. I can't. It's a very solid, really good movie. I liked it actually better than Elvis. I saw Elvis earlier this year.
Yeah,
that was a very good movie. I think I like this one better.
Okay.
Just because I wasn't a giant Elvis fan as much as I am as a Al Yankovic fan. So I mean, I just like him more, and I'm more interested in that story than I am in Elvis's story.
Yeah. Well, and
I thought the musical scenes in this movie were on par with that movie.
Yeah, and I think probably what causes that. I mean, Elvis was before, way before us.
That's another thing about this movie that you can talk about is just the musical performances in it are well done, well produced.
Yeah, even though Daniel Radcliffe is lip syncing.
Yeah.
Because they did use Weird Al's recordings for this, which I think is good. I mean, just like Bohemian Rhapsody, you're not going to be able to sing like Freddie Mercury. But yeah, the musical performances. I think especially the percussion when they're in the public restroom and when they're at the pool party and the drummer starts hitting the accordion case for the percussion. I think, all right, Whiplash.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's like right up there with Whiplash. I mean,
how do you make it sound so powerful?
Yeah. I mean, the sound design and
the sound editing are very good.
Oh yeah. I mean, the sound, it's sharp. You have nice quick attacks, especially with the percussion. The dynamic range of the accordion. I know Daniel Radcliffe, he stated that he learned a little bit of he learned enough accordion to be able to do it in camera.
Yeah.
To where it kind of looked like makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see who they actually got to play the accordion or if it was just a part of, but it sounded like the accordion was being played on the set.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, the range of the accordion and all that music coming together.
Sounded great.
I thought it sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I think will be overlooked in this movie because it's done so well. You don't notice the genius of it with the sound editing and how the filmmakers were able to make it come all together.
Yeah. That's one surprising thing. I didn't expect because you need in a music biopic, you need the performance, like the music numbers or whatever set pieces in the movie to kind of stand out. This definitely did that. I would argue better than Elvis this year.
Okay.
I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody in a while.
I haven't seen Elvis.
Might be better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
I saw Bohemian Rhapsody. It was okay.
Oh, really? Not a big fan?
No. I mean, it was fine. I am typically not a fan of music biopics. I liked Great Balls of Fire just because it came out when I was younger, and I just watched it a lot when I was a kid. I think the other, trying to think, Ray, I honestly wasn't a fan of. I mean, Jamie Foxx did a pretty good job, but
he did a pretty good job.
I don't know.
He was awesome.
But he's a singer, so and he can sing. It's like Ariana Grande can sing like Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and all these others, because it's imitating.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, some of the Oscar bait movies, to where when people portray somebody, especially if they've been around during recording,
mm-hmm.
to where they could see someone on film or on video and they can get their mannerisms, I feel like it's just impersonating.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to...
You thought it was an impersonation.
Correct. To where I feel like Daniel Radcliffe, at least in an effort, almost made it feel like he made Weird Al his own character when he performed them.
Yeah.
There was glimpses
of
Al and Daniel Radcliffe's, but it was different enough to where he kind of made it his own.
Okay.
Which I think you need to do to be able to tell the story that you want to tell.
Right.
Sometimes, but instances like Ray, or I'm trying to think of another.
I didn't think
it wasn't a music biopic, but it was when an actor won another Oscar for somebody that was around. Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote.
Oh, Capote.
And I'm like, it's an imitation.
Imitation, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's Oscar bait shit, and it's fine, I guess. But I feel like it's just an imitation.
Yeah. Fair enough. But you felt like Daniel Radcliffe wasn't doing an imitation of Al so much as kind of channeling him.
No. And I think he did a good job, because at the earlier part of the movie, his more innocent side, I felt like he was kind of doing an Al impersonation, which I think worked, especially since he knew that Al did these things later on. He needed to differentiate. So maybe because Al Yankovic, to me, always felt very innocent, just more family friendly and everything else. I wasn't aware of the other side of him. And I think that what Daniel may have chosen, probably the director, probably under the direction too, was use Al's public persona as his innocence. And as you become more famous, then you delve into your character of Al. Because at that point, it's no longer an imitation. You're interpreting what you imagine. Because, I mean, it happened, but no one saw it. So that is the point to where your acting ability would take shape.
Gotcha.
As opposed to just doing a straight impersonation all the way through, like Jamie Foxx and Ray.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I'll buy it.
I don't think... I mean, obviously this movie's not going to win awards. I mean, I don't... I think...
You don't think so?
I think it'll be nominated.
Okay.
Like I get sound editing, maybe song.
Okay.
But it hasn't been released in theaters, so I don't think it could be up for Academy
Oh,
Awards.
that's right. Yeah. It's got to be. Yep.
Yeah. So
A certain amount of theaters or whatever.
And I don't think Roku released it.
No.
So, but I do think maybe, I don't even know if Rainn Wilson, but Toby Huss.
Toby Huss is good, and I thought Julian Nicholson.
Yeah,
really
Julian Nicholson I could see.
Yeah.
But now Daniel Radcliffe, I think he did a good job.
He carried the movie.
He did
for sure.
It's sad.
Yeah. Do you get sad like at these kind of movies normally?
Well, I don't know.
Did you shed an Indian tear in there?
I almost did during his acceptance speech about being weird.
And thanking his dad and all that stuff.
Well, it was about if you're weird, be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself in life and do what you want in life, because that's the only way you're going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't look up his acceptance speech for that, but it felt like something that Weird Al would say.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It was a nice, innocent but true statement to end the film on.
Yep.
And I think capped it off.
A nice emotional bookend.
A little emotional bookend. I mean, I didn't tear up or anything, just because I think they play up the comedy so much that it's hard to hit the emotional beats, and you want to end it on a high note, which is tough to do, especially with him just getting assassinated at the end. But no, I mean, it almost had me there. Maybe that didn't land. So
Yeah. Well, I liked how after that the movie ends, and then they have that nice picture montage of his life and all that stuff. And
yeah, and because you could see they had him growing up and his childhood, and then him and with Madonna and all that, and just I mean, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, a Roku channel movie.
I know. I'm surprised a different studio didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
So, or Netflix, or I mean something.
I mean, Netflix is giving out money hand over fist. So why not? It was only made for $8 million.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. It was shot in it was like 20 days.
I think so. Yeah. Or was it 18 days?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, $8 million over 18 days.
18 days.
Yeah.
That is quick.
That is quick.
Guerrilla filmmaking.
Nice. Well, got $8 million. You got a strict schedule to stick to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I recommend it.
I recommend it too.
I thought it was great.
It's a good watch.
It is a good watch.
Yeah, it's it's sad when people like that had such a positive impact. I mean, obviously everyone deals with their own demons, but it's a good watch. You can kind of get a full story of the person.
Yep. Miss you, Al.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, after watching this movie, you know how you always go through like the old playlist of stuff, and you just start listening to old, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, there we go.
And the fact,
like a Weird Al kick.
I mean, and it's amazing, like the talent of somebody like that, because that he's still influencing music today to where, because what he had, he did a song, White and Nerdy.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that inspired the 2010 hit,
Riding Dirty.
Riding Dirty. I mean, and the fact that he's inspiring like just a range of genres. I mean, it's amazing that one person can do that.
Yeah, what was that? What was the most recent one? Oh yeah, Hacky inspired. What's that? The Pharrell hit, Happy.
Oh
yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I mean that song came out 5 years ago.
Oh, that was
not that long ago.
Yeah, what movie was that for? Wasn't
Minions?
Happy? Was it?
I think so. Yeah, it's Pharrell Williams. He did like the
Happy. I feel like Happy's older than that. Wasn't it like Sing or not Happy Feet or something?
No,
not that.
No. I'm looking it up.
All right.
Anyway, but yeah, you're right. Stuff that people don't realize. He's still
like
people are still sampling his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from Despicable Me too.
Yeah,
I was wrong about the year. It's 2013. So.
Oh, okay.
Anywho,
but yeah, I recommend it.
I do too.
I think it's good. They'll probably win a couple Emmys.
It's one of those weird tone movies, you know.
Yeah, but it balances it very well.
It does.
So cool. Well, anything else on Weird Al?
No, I recommend it. It might actually be on my top 5 at the end of the year. It just depends. I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah,
I did like it a lot.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be on my top 5. I'm just not a big music person.
Yeah.
But I mean I think it's pretty solid.
Yep.
Action is great.
Yep.
Yeah, the action choreography. I mean, yeah.
I mean, this movie just has so many different tones and you know, balance. Like you said, balances the drama with the comedy, and then you get some pretty cool action, like a pretty solid action set piece in there. It's good.
Mm-hmm. But no, it was
Unexpected coming out of the Roku channel. I like it.
Yeah. I think it's a good statement piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're here and we're serious.
That's right.
So welcome, Roku.
Welcome.
Join the other 1,500
I know
streaming companies. So, but yeah, recommend it. Good movie. Yeah.
You have anything else, Jay?
I do not.
Alrighty.
Join us next time for our Thanksgiving special.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds intriguing.
Ooh, it is. So, where we will be discussing movies we like to see around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll dive deep in any of them. Maybe we won't. Maybe
We'll
it'll
just-
probably be a rando episode. But
That's right. It's tough to do a top 5 Thanksgiving.
yeah, there's not a lot of
There's not
Thanksgiving
any-
movies.
no, definitely
and,
It's tough to correlate a theme, a
Yeah.
top 5 theme to that. So
But yeah, we both have movies that we tend to like to watch around Thanksgiving
Yeah.
because it's not yet Christmas and Halloween's already passed. So,
that's right.
but yeah, so join us for that episode.
Mhm.
Hope you enjoyed this episode and
Yep.
thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Again, if you want to comment or shoot us an email, anything, website's in the description of the episode. But yeah, next week, Thanksgiving special.
Till next time, Jay.
Till next time, Matt.